Peace and love, man. And welcome to the groovy Bad Influence, where we'll be looking at the brand new Woodstock CD-ROM.
Yes, and moving forward rapidly 25 years, our main review this week is Mortal Kombat 2 on the SNES with all the gory bits.
Hey, far out. And the 3DO finally hits the shops. But has it been worth the wait?
And I'll be sailing the cyber seas in SIGGRAPH 94, the biggest and best computer graphics show in the world.
But first, you could be thinking, I wish I had a T-shirt like Violet's, or then again, perhaps not. Either way, you can now design your own T-shirt transfers using a home computer and some special new printer paper. Earlier today, I got my camcorder and I grabbed a video still of our Violet the hippie here. We'll just use a simple paint package. We can cut round Violet's head. It's a little bit rough around the edges, but never mind. There we are. We can take her out like that. And we want to put her against a nice background. You can put her over here, say. Now, every good T-shirt, of course, has a phrase or saying on it, and we can have, what would be appropriate? Love and... whoops. Peace. We'll make that colour and that mauve. Now, before we print it out, there's something very important that we've got to do. We've got to flip the image round. Why will become clear in a sec. There we go. And then we just print it out. You can use any printer you like because, as I said, it's not the printer that's different, it's the paper. This is the special new heat-sensitive transfer print paper. And the reason we flipped it around before we printed it, well, if you think about it, you put this on the T-shirt the wrong way around. When you iron it and take it off, the picture will come out the right way around. Irons, though, they're very hot, they're very dangerous things. I don't think I'm to be trusted with an iron. Violet!
Yeah? What?
Hippies. I hate hippies. Hippies are hideous, horrible, hopeless, and disgusting. So, to take my mind off hippies, here's a cheat for Zombies Ate My Neighbours on the SNES. It's a password that lets you jump straight to level 48. Just enter WWJX like that. And once you're there, you'll be able to explore the offices of the programmers at LucasArts. Let's have a look who we've got here. Mark Hay Hutchinson. Even more hippies. And now, how to spot hippies. Number 1, long hair, often in a stupid ponytail. Number 2, the irritating way they say things like, wow, man, and nice one. And number 3, and the most important way to spot a hippie, the smell. Wait a minute.
Wow, man. Nice one.
Right, so the transfer's on the wrong way around, you see. And then,
up.
when it's ironed on, and you peel it off, hang on a sec.
Oh, let's see it then.
The picture comes out the right way around, you see. Fantastic, isn't it? What do you think? Be honest.
Yeah, it's great, Andy. Lovely.
I don't think it's that bad, Violet.
Our main review this week is Mortal Kombat 2 on the SNES. A year after the release of the original on the much-hyped Mortal Monday, the sequel hits the shops on the Game Gear, the Game Boy, the SNES and the Mega Drive, just in time for the new age rating system on computer games to kick in. So, the SNES version has got a certificate 15. But for the most part, the gore is no worse than a few red pixels stuck together to represent blood. Mortal Kombat 2 has 7 new characters, including these two, Mylena and Jax. There are loads of new moves, and the animation has been improved to give the fighters a 3D, almost filmic quality. But what's it like to play? Here's Lakesh.
This is a perfect conversion of the arcade game, and it's miles better than the original Mortal Kombat. The graphics and sound in this game are excellent, and the animation is deadly smooth. Here I'm playing as Liu Kang against Shang Tsung. He's a shapeshifter and can change it to any character he wants, using any of the different moves he wants. The special moves are quite easy to activate. Here Shang Tsung's just changed into Jax. He's just changed into Kitana now, and I'm going to try and... got him. Right, the fatality moves are very hard to pull out, but I'm going to try and got it. If you don't like the gore and can't stand the fatality moves, you can always do a friendship move. Here's Liu Kang dancing and celebrating Cage's death.
Friendship? Friendship?
It's an outstanding game, and the first beat-em-up which isn't overshadowed by Street Fighter 2.
It's fantastic fun, especially in 2-player mode.
It's slick, smooth and brilliantly gory. It's a touch of genius.
And so the final scores for Mortal Kombat 2, both the girls and the boys gave it a maximum 5 out of 5.
Hey, peace and love. Now, if your mum and dad are sad old hippies, get them in the room now, because this is for them. You may not know it, but this year marks the 25th anniversary of the legendary music festival Woodstock. Now, of course, there's books and audio CDs, but now there's the interactive CD-ROM. Now, the disc features all kinds of different information, and although you may not have heard loads of the tracks, it still features legendary performers, such as Roger Daltrey from The Who. The Who? Ask Andy. And Crosby, Stills and Nash. That's these guys. You've got the biog, the albums, the photos here. Let's have a look at a clip of the movie. I'm told it's an acquired taste. One of the other interesting things about this disc is you can go backstage. So here, this is the guy who organised the festival 25 years ago, and he only expected 200,000 people to turn up, so you can imagine how he felt when 500,000 people flooded the site. That's 25 years ago. This is more recent, this is nowadays. Hasn't changed much, has he? Once a hippie, always a hippie. But this is the best bit. You can paint all kinds of symbols with a mouse, and all the symbols are icons of the 60s, and you can also get music tracks and videos of the era from the festival to play along to make an altogether crazy psychedelic happening. Hey, far out.
Orlando in Florida is the most popular tourist destination in America, and with good reason. Apart from the occasional thunderstorm, the weather is always good. But I won't be needing these today because I've come to visit the biggest computer graphics show in the world, SIGGRAPH 94. It's the perfect place for the virtual tours. You can cruise the information superhighways, hang out in hyperspace, and sightsee in Silicon. And what sights they were. Although SIGGRAPH is really a serious scientific show, the big thing in '94 was entertainment. Almost every stand has some form of game or ride. This is my favorite. It's called Virtual Adventures, the Loch Ness Expedition. The idea is that during the submarine race to save the Loch Ness Monster's eggs. And unlike many virtual worlds, you experience this one as a team. Elsewhere at the show, other virtual tourists were getting their sea legs in a demo version of a virtual voyage on the good ship Cutty Sark. Landlubbers like me were better off trying out drier sports like Formula One racing, or Formula One racing, or downhill skiing. This is Egghead Shred. You control this lovable little character with this bodysuit. Now, if you want to go right, you have to twist your body right. If you want to go left, you got to twist left. And then crouch down to get more speed. Now I'm about to go for the jump. Like all popular tourist attractions, SIGGRAPH can be a zoo. So after a hard morning sightseeing, what could be nicer than a relaxing swim with dolphins? This is a truly passive experience. You do nothing. You just lie there peacefully on a gently moving bed as 3D dolphins dart around you. You feel their ultrasonic scans gently massaging your body as you encounter up to 6. Sorry, drifted away there. This is The Edge, a side hall full of the weird and the wonderful.
The idea is to create an interaction between a human being and a non-humanoid being.
Actually, there was one really interesting bit of hardware in The Edge. It's a chair that supports your body in exactly the position it would be in if you were floating in outer space. The chair is moved by these rams that are much quieter and lighter than the hydraulics used in current simulators. NASA have already bought some to use in training astronauts. You know, it's funny how you meet the same people year after year on vacation. You might remember my friend the Vactor from last year's SIGGRAPH.
Hello, Z.
Hey, how you doing? To operate them back then, I had to wear a bulky and uncomfortable helmet. The 94 version censors the actor's movement with the sticky, tiny dots. Could you tell me how this works?
Well, see, you see the dots on my face. Those are reflective dots that track the movements in my face, and those movements are picked up by the camera here in this helmet. So when I speak, the mouth moves. I can smile, I can frown, And also, I can move my eyebrows and wiggle my ears. And I can change the position of the head by using the mouse in any direction I want. Whoa! Anything else you'd like to know?
Yeah, where are the restrooms? At SIGGRAPH, you can't escape from technology, even in the restroom. This is part of an art and design exhibit, and it's supposed to make you think. There's a similar setup in the ladies' toilet, and you can interact with anyone who happens to be there. And graffiti, too. Well, it made me think. No vacation's complete without a bit of culture. This is me exploring the Basilica of St. Francis in Assisi. This is me admiring the virtual Vatican. This is me at the ancient Egyptian fortress of Wuhan. And this is me having my picture painted. This is the Imaginiso, invented by Disney artists to make electronic painting seem more like the real thing. In a normal paint system, the artist has to look at a separate monitor while drawing on a flat pad. The Imaginiso, for the first time, lets the artist work directly on the picture. He can see his work and his hand at the same time. And so, I get a virtual souvenir of my holiday at SIGGRAPH. Being a virtual tourist has advantages and disadvantages. Perhaps the best thing is that even when you get caught in a virtual thunderstorm, you don't get wet. Unlike in the real Orlando, where in the summer this happens every afternoon. This is Z Wright, getting wet for bad influence.
I've done a lot worse things for bad influence than get wet, I can tell you.
Yeah, like dress up like a hippie, for instance.
Yeah. And incidentally, Z will be trying out the first full-scale Loch Ness adventure later on in the series. Now, though, time for this week's news and previews.
Move over, Mario. The big SNES game this Christmas features the plumber's original arch-enemy, Donkey Kong. Welcome to Donkey Kong Country, the most spectacular 16-bit game ever produced. It's been rendered on the same kind of machinery which will be used for the Ultra 64, and the graphics will knock your socks off. The game will have around 500 levels, if you count all the secret ones. It's due out early December.
If you're a fan of Desert Strike and Jungle Strike, you'll love the sequel due out at the end of this month. This is Urban Strike for the Mega Drive. The action takes place in the year 2006 in major cities across America. There are new weapons and tactics, and for the first time in some levels, you can leave your vehicle and carry out attacks on foot. We'll be giving Urban Strike a full review in a couple of weeks' time.
Britain's biggest consumer electronics show, Live 94, begins at Earl's Court in London on Tuesday. It runs for 6 days and, like last year, will be featuring the latest in audio and video hardware and computers and games.
Hello again, slimy furtlers. This is my latest invention, the electronic machine for inverting time, or EMIT for short. It makes time run backwards. Phew, rock and roll time. Anyway, here's a backwards cheat for Virtua Racing on the Mega Drive. On the intro screen, hold down A, B, up, and then when you press start, an extra box will appear with the words Virtual Racing reversed. Here we go, 3, 2, 1, and then you can race around all the tracks backwards. Hey! And now for another time test. Brilliant!
After more than a year of hype, the first 3DO player was launched in the UK last week, rather shyly. All the software comes on CD, but it's not just a games machine. It'll also play audio CDs and photo CDs. You can get your snaps put on a CD at most major labs, and then you can do funky things with them like that. You can flip them round and round and round and round and round, or you could zoom in if you wanted to, like that. You'll be able to play movies on CD eventually, but that requires an extra bit of hardware that's not available yet. The big selling point, though, is the games.
This is a 3DO version of the classic Mega Drive game Road Rash. The game's almost unrecognisable from earlier versions. The graphics are much more detailed, with a thumping selection of rock tracks from bands like Swerve Driver, Soundgarden and Therapy.
Another classic that's been given the 3DO treatment, Another World. In the game, you have to guide a young scientist back from parallel universe. The game looks great and the original gameplay is addictive. Another old favourite is FIFA International Soccer. The 3DO version has new camera features that let you zoom in on the pitch and view the action from any angle, and the crowd sound is amazing.
This is one of the few original games for the 3DO. a cinematic monster called Shockwave. It's a futuristic shoot-'em-up. Earth has been invaded again, and you're one of the last combat fighters defending the planet.
Although the machines are only available in a few shops, we've decided to start reviewing the games so that at least you can see what they look like. And we're going to start by reviewing the game that comes with the machine, Total Eclipse.
As the pilot of a space combat fighter, you are the world's last hope against an invading alien horde. Total Eclipse has a great intro sequence with superbly rendered graphics like you've never seen before on any home console. But who cares about the graphics? What's it like to play? Which is Wayne.
If only the game was as good as the introduction sequence, 3DO would have a bestseller on their hands. Unfortunately, it's not even close. You start the game with a standard weapon. All the way through the game, you can pick up power-ups. There's one there. That's given me a better weapon than I started with. All the levels, as you can probably see, look very much the same. This one's been coloured in white to make it look like ice mountains, but the gameplay is very much the same all the way through. I expected something a lot better from a 3DO game. It's frankly mediocre.
I was very disappointed by this. The gameplay is pretty limited.
What a dull game. I got tired of this pretty quickly.
And the scores for Total Eclipse. The girls gave it an average 3 out of 5, but the boys thought the gameplay let it down, only 2 out of 5.
Strap on your jetpack for Archer McLean's Drop Zone. This is an old arcade action game which has been revamped for the Game Gear. You play a lone spaceman whose job it is to whiz around the barren moonscape of Io, shooting aliens and saving scientists. Here's Amanda.
This is a really simple game, which is easy to get into and great fun to play. This jack-shaped thing is a scientist. The aim of the game is to take these scientists and deliver them at Moonbase. All the levels look pretty much the same, but that doesn't matter because the gameplay is still there. Here's a rain cloud. I've got to be careful because the rain can actually kill me. There's all sorts of baddies and you've got to be quite skillful to turn around and shoot at them all, or avoid them. I couldn't put it down. It's cute and addictively playable.
It's a nice, straightforward game that works well on the Game Gear.
I couldn't be bothered with this. There just wasn't enough to do for my liking.
And the scores for Drop Zone, the girls gave it an average 3 out of 5, but the boys liked it a bit better, 4 out of 5.
Ah, hello again, slimy furtlers. After a hard day cracking game codes, there's nothing I like better than tending my plants. This one's a Violet, and this one's an Andy. And I'll let you into a little secret. They grow bigger if you talk to them. Come on, little planty-wanties, grow for Nam. Spurt up Andy, sprout out Violet. So, while they're growing, here's a cheat for Micro Machines on the Game Gear. It lets you choose tracks you race on. On the title screen, press up 2, down 2, 2, left 2, 2, 2. There we go, race 2. Desktop drop off. Hey! Violet! Bad girl!
Last week's competition prize was a SNES, a Super Game Boy and 2 games. The question was, in which country was Tetris invented? The answer's Russia. Just over 6,000 people entered the competition. But the winner is Timothy Parsons-Smith from Berkhamsted in Hertfordshire. Congratulations, Timothy. 10 runners-up will get the Bad Influence T-shirts, the proper ones. Better than sleep, not the ones that I did. Your names are going across the screen now. Well done.
This week's competition is to win a 3DO and a game. And the question is, to the nearest minute, how long does it take the light from the sun to reach the Earth? Phone in your answers on 0891 555 999. Calls will cost no more than 25p and lines will close at midnight on Monday. But make sure you get permission from the person who pays the phone bill.
As usual, the 10 runners-up will get Bad Influence T-shirts, but remember, you can't win if you don't ask permission. Right, that's just about it for this week. Thank you for watching. We'll leave you with the specially shot intro sequence from the new Road Rash on the 3DO.
And did you know, Andy, that it was shot in San Francisco, where the flowers grow?
No, Violet, I didn't. Bye.